Okay, so I have no idea whether this video will ever make it anywhere. I don't know whether I'm calling it a vlog. I don't know what I'm calling it. What I know though is that I thought it would be amazing to at least bring you along with me for this incredible workshop that I'm hosting in Rhinebeck in New York. It is starting on Friday the 8th, which is the Lionsgate portal, the 8th of August, right the way through to Sunday the 10th. And it's also a massive moment for me because I'm also heading over to Penguin's headquarters in Manhattan on Thursday the 7th. And that's going to be surreal, just to meet my editor and my agent and all the amazing people that have been working very hard behind the scenes on my book, Beyond Wanting, which of course is publishing on the 11th of November. Now, you'll probably notice in this vlog that Khorasan and Humphrey aren't coming along with me for this trip, which was a very difficult decision that we had to recently make. The plan was always to bring them along, but unfortunately, just over the last few weeks, Humphrey's just got to that stage where he is finding it, bless him, extremely difficult just to even be in the car for an hour. And he's well into his routine now as well. So as much as our egos wanted to bring him along, and Khorasan wanted to come along and obviously see New York, and we wanted to have that experience as a family, sometimes you have to realise that your ego can be the enemy. And we realised that the better thing to do is to listen to our intuition and listen to our soul and understand that this trip right now is just too much for him. There are going to be so many more opportunities for Humphrey and Khorasan to come along with me and travel. So this is a video to really show you what I see and, you know, this whole experience of hosting this workshop on the Lionsgate portal. So with that said, let's see where this video goes. I've never created a vlog before in my life, if that's what we're calling it, but I think it's going to be quite fun for you to see what I see. Evening from New York. I've just checked into the Park Lane Hotel, and can we just take a moment to just check out that view? I opened the door and there was Central Park right in my face, and I was like, wow, what a way to start my trip. And as I was just sat here, just taking just a couple of minutes, just reflecting on this trip, and just sat here looking out over the most amazing view of the park, it dawned on me that the last time I was here was 2016. Now, why that's significant is 2016 for us all collectively in numerology was the last 9 year, and a 9 in numerology means completion. And I proposed to Khorasan in Central Park in December 2016, and we got married in 2017, and 2017 was a 1 year in numerology, a 1 meaning new beginnings. So here I am now, full circle, quite literally, which is really odd how it all perfectly works itself out. 2025 being a 9 year again in numerology, and I'm now reflecting on this last 9 cycle and what Khorasan and I have been able to achieve and what we've manifested, and getting married and moving to Cornwall and quitting our jobs, and, you know, building a business in the manifestation space and becoming an author, and now talking around the world, and my book publishing at the end of this year. And I know what we've got coming up going into next year, and 2026 for us all is a 1 year again in numerology. And it's just a bit mad. It's just a bit crazy. So just sat here really reflecting on that, reflecting on, you know, what's happening in life. Tomorrow I've got a meeting with Penguin, which I'm really excited about. Tomorrow morning though, first thing, I've packed my running kit and I'm going to go for a 5k run around Central Park. I try and get in a run about 3-4 times a week. And actually, true story, you'll read that in the book. The reason that's become a habit is because I was trying to, for part of the book, try and make a new habit stick. And it was one of those things that I wasn't doing when I was writing the book, and I decided to use running as an experiment, and it stuck, and I try and run at least 2 or 3 times a week. Now, UK time, it's like nearly midnight. It's 10 to 7 here in New York. So I'm gonna head down to one of the restaurants, have a quick bit of dinner, and then go to bed and go from there. Good morning. Probably the outfit that you don't normally recognize me in, but I just couldn't resist the urge to go for a run around Central Park. I'm going to try and get a 5k run in this morning if I can, and actually burn off what I had last night. So the plan was to go to one of the restaurants in the hotel, and they're all pretty busy. I didn't book anything. I went up to the restaurant on the very top. It's called Darling's, and it's absolutely sensational at Park Lane. It's like this rooftop sort of restaurant and bar, views right out onto Central Park, which just looked amazing, but too busy. So I thought, you know what, I've been on a plane for 8 hours, I could do with a bit of a walk and a bit of exercise. So I walked to Times Square, and I did something that me and Coruscant did in 2016. I went to Bubba Gump. I just had chicken and chips and just sat there by myself at the bar looking over at Times Square. And you know, it was pretty nice. I woke up this morning feeling a little bit heavy, so I thought there's not a better way to start today than going for a run. Central Park looks beautiful this morning. So I'll see you at the end of this 5k run. If you're wondering how the footage is so smooth, it's because I'm using an Osmo Pocket. This is the Osmo Pocket 3, which is just fantastic. You have this little screen so you can see yourself. And I have no idea where I am, by the way, in the park. I'm trying to make my way back to my hotel. I'm just looking at it in the skyline now and just following my nose. It's so nice to do it in the park. So many, I was honestly, I don't know what I was thinking. I just couldn't believe how many runners. It felt like I was part of a marathon or something. Such a nice atmosphere just to be running with everyone. And for me, running it's definitely a form of therapy. It's like a second meditation. I'm a great believer in like moving energy from the body, so it's a really great way to sort of raise your vibration as well. I just absolutely love it. I don't love it as much as coffee though. So coffee is a huge passion of mine and Coruscant's. Of course I love the science of coffee. So definitely time for a flat white, find a coffee shop. And then the plan for the rest of this morning is I've got to write my newsletter for this Saturday. So I write an email newsletter every single Saturday. About 31,000 people read that, which is crazy. And if you're wondering, I never plan the content in advance. I always think about what I'm going to write that particular week, which I think just helps sort of stay in the vibe of the collective, if you like. So obviously it's Thursday now, that's going to go out on Saturday. And this week's is all about the Sturgeon full moon, which is falling on Saturday the 9th. So it's the perfect email newsletter to go out this week. It's also my birthday on Saturday the 9th, which is pretty cool. And a full moon is all about clearing out old energy, releasing, purging, letting go and getting ready for the new. And that comes around every single month. But of course, the particular type of full moon changes. The sturgeon full moon is all about resilience, endurance, and harvest consciousness, which is going to be a fun one to write. And then I've got to be at Penguin Random House's headquarters for 12 noon, meeting the team there, and then we're going out for lunch. And then chilling out this afternoon, and me and a friend are going out for dinner this evening at 8 o'clock. Okay, so this is totally crazy. I have just arrived at Penguin Random House's headquarters. I don't know what to expect, but it's quite a surreal moment, I'm not gonna lie. That dream that I had all those years ago, to be stood here right now in New York, feels very, very surreal.
Here, this is a nice spot, our little lounge.
Wow. Very, very cool.
Very orange.
Very penguin. It's
Yeah, this room has a good view. Okay, correct.
wow, just what an experience. Whew, just letting it sink in, to be honest. Every part of me, egoically, just wants to be a tourist right now and just wants to get out there and just go and sightsee. But just the more grounded version of Matt is just saying, just sit in stillness, just take a moment to just reflect on what you've just experienced. And also I should probably make sure I'm ready for my workshop that starts tomorrow as well, and just make sure I go back through my my slides and everything and make sure I'm ready. But just reflecting on that was the biggest manifestation of mine, to walk into Penguin's headquarters and to see Beyond Wanting on the shelf next to Ryan Holiday, who's someone I admire, and just to see all those incredible books, but more importantly to actually meet the team at Tarcher, the most incredible, lovely people who I know are probably watching this video. They have worked so hard behind the scenes on Beyond Wanting, and they are all amazing people. And it's just so nice to be there. So Tarcher are this incredible division, if you like, imprint under Penguin Random House. And what they do is incredible. And just so nice to actually physically meet people. I think we're living in a world now with so much AI. I don't know if you can resonate with this. When I'm watching a video now on social media, I'm just like, is this real or is this AI? And I think there's just this human craving that I'm definitely feeling for just like human interaction. And I think there's going to be a bigger craving for that. And that's why I'm really excited to start doing more of these in-person workshops and events as well, to really have that connection with people, you know? And I was joking, but I think it's honestly true that, you know, when we watch films and we know they're based on true events, I don't know about you, but I always feel more emotionally invested in that film. And I genuinely believe that in the future, with the way AI is going, that when a film has been made with real human beings, we'll be more emotionally invested. I think we'll go, wow, this film's actually real, you know? And I think that's what's just so nice about meeting people in person. But an absolute surreal experience to be there. It was a dream come true, a genuine dream come true. And no manifestation feels better than tangibly, physically feeling something or being there. So of course I always knew my book was out and I was signed and it's being published, but to physically see it there and to physically be there in that environment and to meet my agent and my editor and all these amazing people, just great, really great. So I've got a couple of hours here, and then I am meeting a really good friend of mine here in the city who's kindly taking me out to dinner to an Italian, which is just just down the road next to the plaza, and he's actually joining me and about 50 other people at my workshop at Omega, and he's driving me out there tomorrow, which is so kind of him. And I think it's about a 2-hour drive, so of course I'm going to take you along with me. I'll bring the camera along tonight as well and see whether I can get any footage of where I am and where we're eating. And yeah, I'm actually really getting into the swing of doing this type of content and doing a vlog, so I hope you're enjoying it and I'm not making too much of a mess of it. Okay, so about to meet my friend at that restaurant there called Harry Cipriani, which sounds amazing. Never heard of it before, but my friend Sal has booked it. I had a quick look on the website and it says dress code is business casual. What a view with the plaza there right behind me and the restaurant just there. Of course, if you know Cornwall, it's the complete opposite, right? It's the duality of Manhattan, and we all need a bit of duality in our life, don't we? We all need the opposite in something. And of course, when you live like in the countryside or on the coast, like I do, then you know you need the buzz of this type of energy. Good morning. Currently 6:30 a.m. Woke up really early this morning at like 4:30 and just watched the sunrise here over Central Park. Absolutely magical. Excuse the crazy hair. Oh, it's the 8th of August. That means it's 8/8. It is the Lionsgate portal. And I have spent some time this morning setting my intentions for the next 12 months. It's the only opportunity I'm going to have before leading this workshop later this evening and helping everyone in that room set their intentions. And I was just reflecting on how magical this moment is. And you know, the more I do this work, the more I continue to be blown away. I don't need any more proof. I cannot even begin to emphasize how real this is. And there were 3 main signs. You know, I've been in New York less than 48 hours, about 36 hours. And I was reflecting this morning whilst lying in bed, the 3 main signs I had. So the first sign that I thought I saw was as I was walking down Times Square, I saw this massive sign with 888 on it. And I was like, wow, that's the first sign. You know, I'm here obviously to celebrate 8/8, and that's great to see. And then I'm at dinner last night with my friend and we're just chatting, and I look down on the dinner plate, and there on the dinner plate is 888, the smallest 888 on the dinner plate, on my plate, on my friend's plate. And we just said to each other, we just looked at each other and we were like, what are the odds, right? What are the odds? When you really think of the statistical odds of any, there was no wording on that plate apart from the logo. There is the number 888. And I was lying there this one thinking, wow, that's crazy. And then I realised again that when I got here, when I got in a cab from JFK straight to the hotel, and the driver said to me, you know, thanks so much. And I said, what do I owe you? And he said, oh, do you not know? It's a flat fare from JFK. I said, oh, no, I didn't know. And he said, yeah, it's $88. Of course, I tipped him, but that didn't even click until this morning. So there's the 3 signs. The flat fare of $88, seeing 888 on Times Square, and then the dinner plate, 888. That's universal intelligence. That is angel numbers, angles of insight. I'm here for a reason. And that's extremely powerful. 8, of course, in numerology is abundance and power, but it's, if we turn it on its side, it's the infinity symbol. It represents so much. It represents this infinite, abundant flow of energy. And I get quite emotional actually thinking about how powerful it is. So I've currently got my 9 intentions charging in the beautiful sunlight, these light codes that are coming in now. And when you set these intentions, they don't always make sense initially because you really listen to your intuition. Your ego wants to write like material things down. But when you set soul-based intentions, it's coming from somewhere else, and you have to trust the first thought that comes in. If you've done my activation training, you'll know, or maybe you're watching this back in the future and you attended my workshop. And then you build from them. So the plan for this morning is I'm going to go for another run around Central Park. Can't resist. Great to stretch the legs. And then I'm going to come back to the room. I'm going to grab a coffee. I'm going to come back to the room. I'm going to do a few hours of work just to make sure I'm ready. And then we're going to head up to, I'm going to check out at 11, and then from 12 we're going to head up to Rhinebeck. Explore Rhinebeck, grab some lunch, and then I'm going to get to Omega for 4 o'clock, with the workshop starting at 7. Okay, so this is a bit of a surreal moment. I've just realised the stretch that I'm running here in Central Park is coming up to where I proposed to Coruscant in December 2016. My plan was to do it on Bow Bridge, which is obviously where everyone does it. And I remember that evening when I got there were several other people proposing at the same time. So I decided not to. And I actually found a little spot just by Bow Bridge, which I'm trying to find now, which I remember just it felt like it was a little bit more intimate and a little bit more private as well. And I'm pretty sure if I can find it, I'm coming up to it. Here it is. It's down here, just in this little spot here. And I just remember it being just me and Coruscant. There was no one else around, and it just felt really special. There wasn't as much overgrowth here, so I remember you could see the buildings there off to the left. I'll try and do this without falling in. It was there, and it was at night, and this was all lit up. It's so romantic. And then I remember we walked then back over Bow Bridge, and of course there was a couple in the middle of a proposal. If you've seen Bow Bridge, it's beautiful. So let me walk you over it now. Here it is. Yeah, it is Bow Bridge. Glad I remembered. So nice. I remember there was a couple sort of about there proposing. What a morning. I can feel the 8-8 energy. Oh, what a moment in time to be back in New York 9 years later. The one thing I'm definitely going to miss is that run in the morning in Central Park. It is absolutely magical. I am so glad my intuition was like, Matt, just take the larger suitcase, throw in your running kit, you won't regret it. There was a part of me that just wanted to take like a carry-on, you know, but with the carry-on I wouldn't have been able to get like my whole running kit in. So I'm glad I did that, because it just meant I could do that. And if you've ever ran around Central Park, then you'll know what I mean. But there's just such a great energy in there. Like, I was in the park for like 6:45 a.m. this morning, something like that, and I just can't believe how busy it is, and just the energy of all the runners, and it really feels like you're part of something. And I think that's what's so great about being in a group. It's the worlds apart from what I do in the morning in Cornwall. And I FaceTime Coruscant, and she loved it. You know, she was like, wow, she's definitely going to do that with me when we're back here. And then so after my run, then it's coffee time, of course. So try and hunt somewhere for a flat white, get to a Starbucks, and as you might be able to see here, there's 4 coffees on the windowsill. So just try and have a think about why I might have 4 coffees. Why would I have 4? Well, for me, I just knew, well, I'd like to have a sip whilst walking back to the hotel, and then it'd be great to have another one whilst I'm doing a little bit of work this morning. Yeah, I could do room service, but I may as well just get one whilst I'm here. So I order initially from Starbucks a flat white. That is not a flat white. That literally is a cup of hot milk with the flavour of coffee. There is no way that the size of that can be a flat white. So not quite sure what's happening there when you say flat white. I don't know whether you have to say, can I have a miniature flat white? I don't know. I don't really go to Starbucks. But then when I was walking back to the hotel, I saw this really cute, quaint little coffee shop, and they had a similar coffee machine that I've got, and they looked like they knew how to do coffee. So hence why I've got 2 actual cortados, because I was just like, do you know what? If they do a flat white the same way as Starbucks, I'll be disappointed, and I'll have 4 coffees I don't drink. I like my coffee really strong, and that's actually really nice. There's a real psychology to coffee that I absolutely love. Like, I really enjoy the understanding like the origin of the beans, like understanding the process of grinding the beans, and like the carbon dioxide in the freshness of the beans, where you get that real thick creme. That's what I love. It's a real passion of mine. So I won't bore you anymore with coffee. I've got about 2.5 hours before I need to check out of this hotel. So I'm going to do some final bits and then head up to Rhinebeck. Okay, so I've just checked out. I can highly recommend Park Lane. Beautiful hotel, and the bed was super comfy as well. But I just wanted to, just quickly, I've got about 15 minutes before I leave here, just to talk about how I'm feeling, because I'm now heading up to host this 3-day workshop, and there's people that are flying in from all over. And as I sit here now, 2 things are happening. I'm actually really excited, is the honest truth, because I know how life-changing this work is, and hosting a 3-day workshop has given me this opportunity to condense all my teachings into what I call the system. And the system is what I'm teaching this weekend over 4 segments over 3 days. So it starts tonight, Friday, 7 till 9. And then tomorrow morning we have a 9 a.m. till 12 noon. Then we break for a few hours, and then it's 2:30 till 5. And then we finish on Sunday morning, 9 till 12. So 4 segments that I call the system. And I know how real this work is, and I know how life-changing it is, and I'm genuinely so excited to be teaching it. But interestingly, at the same time, as I sit here right now, I'm actually aware of a sensation in my stomach that I perceive as nerves. But the real interesting thing is, I'm not nervous. So this is a very tangible experience for me of how a feeling or a sensation can trigger a thought and go, oh, I'm nervous. But in actual fact, I'm not. So whenever we hear that nerves, or the feeling of nerves, can be either seen as I'm nervous or I'm excited, that's exactly how I'm feeling right now. So the feeling is obviously related to a past experience where I was actually nervous. So I just thought I'd share that because that's really interesting, just how I'm feeling right now. And I'm now reprogramming and telling myself, no, this is excitement that I'm feeling. So it's about a 2-hour drive to Rhinebeck. We're going to get lunch, and I'm going to try and capture as much of the New York countryside along the way. So we've just arrived in Rhinebeck, which is absolutely stunning. It's about, I think, 15 minutes or so outside of the Omega Institute, where I'm obviously hosting my workshop. And my friend Sal is staying here at this hotel. And of course, very kindly drove me in his Cybertruck. Actually illegal in the UK. I don't know if they're illegal, they're just not roadworthy. I don't know exactly why. I think it's something to do with the weight being heavier than like a UK driving license allows, but very cool, very, very cool. And it practically, of course, self-drove us here, which is really cool. So the plan is to, I think, spend about an hour or so here in Rhinebeck. We're going to have a wander around the town, which looks stunning, so I'll try and capture as much of that as I can, grab some lunch, and then head over to Omega, make sure I'm there by about 4 o'clock. Look at all these little shops. This is like home from home. This is just beautiful. This is the vibe that me and Coruscant love. Just these little shops, the architecture, the music. This is delightful. Cute little place to eat over there, looks nice. So I just found this gorgeous little children's shop called Starry-Bird Kids, I think is how you say it. And I bought Humphrey 2 books and a little submarine that lights up when you put it in the bath. And that's just so nice because I was thinking I've got to bring Humphrey something back home. And I was chatting to the woman who works in there, and she said, "Oh, you're from England?" I said, "Yeah." And she said, "What do you do?" And I said, "I'm teaching at Omega." And she said, "Oh, what do you teach? What do you do?" And I said, "I'm a manifestation coach." And she said, "No way." She said, "Manifestation is something that I've really started to take seriously in my life." And she said, "When are you teaching?" And I said, "I'm teaching this weekend, literally starts tonight through to Sunday." And she's like, "I'm going to see whether I can get last minute tickets." And she was like, "That's so strange that I've just been chatting to my friends about manifestation and really getting into it, and then in you come. No such thing as coincidence, right?" Okay, so I've arrived at Omega. I've checked into my room, which is this really cute little cabin. I'll show you. There it is. So Omega, it sits on about 250 acres and it looks absolutely beautiful. I will give you a tour around this weekend. So I've been to the main hall where my talk is. I met with AV, set up the sound and the slides and everything, and the time is now just 6:05. So I've got about 25 minutes before I need to be back down there just to do a final check, and then yeah, we've got 50 people attending and I'm really, really excited. It is going to be such a special weekend in such a magical environment. Obviously being the Lionsgate portal, I can already feel the energy in the atmosphere. So this is it. This is the room, the main hall. And I don't know how much of an opportunity I'm going to get to film any content in here. So I'll give you a quick tour of what it's like. My slides there, my whiteboard there, and here's the seating. 50 amazing souls that are going to join me. And I cannot wait. This is the energy that we are dealing with. Wow, what an unbelievable evening. And it's about 11 o'clock here. The talk finished 2 hours ago, and I just want to show you the full moon. So this is the sturgeon full moon that we can see just through the trees here. Absolutely amazing. Good morning. It is Saturday the 9th of August, and it is my birthday. It's my 33rd birthday. Woken up here. An amazing morning, just reflecting on a really powerful evening last night. Such a great room, 50 amazing souls who travelled in to come and see me. Many of them are actually staying here, and many of them are also staying sort of around in the local area in Rhinebeck. And it was just a really powerful evening where we really activated some soul-based intentions, which was really, really nice. The time now is just after 7 a.m. and I have a couple of hours here before my workshop this morning starts at 9 a.m. So, of course, like every morning, I'm heading out for a run. There's about 200 acres or so here at Omega. So, isn't it beautiful? So cool, and it's so serene. And I think I probably included a clip, but the full moon last night, wow. And if you just want to just escape from like the hustle and bustle of life, it's amazing to me that this is, of course, only 2 hours outside of New York City, but we're still in New York. Listen to that. It's just silent. Anyway, I'll bring you along for the run. This here is the Ramdas Library. What a famous library, which I'm definitely going to check out. Look at its architecture, quite amazing how that's been designed. And we're coming up to here, the main hall where I was teaching and am teaching this weekend. There's the main hall. How beautiful this is. This is an 80-acre lake. My run is very stop-start, but who cares? It's my birthday. I can do whatever I want. So this is called the Long Pond Lake. It's like a beach. Home from home. Okay, so that was the most amazing 3-hour workshop. It was everything that I ever dreamed of and more. Everyone was so kind, wished me happy birthday. And yeah, we just went really deep. We went really deep into quantum mechanics, the observer effect, the power of observation, and we really grounded this workshop with the fundamentals of how manifestation works, that observation collapses the wave. We talked about the default mode network, and we went really deep, and it really resonated, and there was really great feedback, which is good. And it's now 12:30, so I've got 2 hours here before we head back for the afternoon session, which is all about rehearsing your future. So I'm here now at the dining hall, and just going to enjoy the sunshine, and then we're going to go from there. Wow, that is a wrap on day 2. Started at 9 a.m, it's now 6, so spoke for about 7 hours today. Absolutely amazing. What an experience. And everyone seemed to really love it. The way I do this work is to simplify it, explain something, and then demystify it with science and research, and I think that really resonated with everyone. Tomorrow, depending on whether everyone's happy, I'm going to try and get either a group photo or some form of footage so you can at least meet everyone that's participated with us. And my plan this evening, I'm not sure. I've got a couple of friends here who've said, do you want to go out on a kayak on the lake, because there's 80 acres on the lake. Another friend's asked me out for dinner in Rhinebeck. It's only 6 here tonight, and there's also a full moon ceremony going on, so I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do yet, but I'm going to pack up all my bits and pieces here. Had little Humphrey and Coruscant with me the whole day on the board, so that was nice. Okay, so the decision was made to have a fairly quick kayak for about half an hour, thanks to my great friend Rick, and then another friend, Sal. He's picking me up for dinner. We have a reservation in town at 8 p.m. What a stunning evening. And here's Rick So Rick and I, we worked together, didn't we? How long ago? Was that 24 or 23?
It was last year, 2024.
Last year. So Rick's great. Rick, how did you find today, the
Oh, I
workshop?
thought it was great. I think that incredibly inspiring. I think that the idea of really breaking down the steps
Yeah.
that you need to manifest doesn't make it as overwhelming and still helps you feel all the feels that you're supposed to be feeling along the way.
I love that.
And it was really cool just being in a room with lots of other people
Yeah.
who are doing the same thing, though not like you're doing it.
And Rick, you're an actor, aren't you?
I am. I'm an actor and writer. Currently in a production of Othello. Come see it. No.
Yeah, please sell it, Rick. Come on, sell it. Yeah. I love it. And it was Rick's idea. Rick said, "Come out, Mac. Let's have a kayak." And I think it's the perfect evening. It's about 80 acres, I think, the lake, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
which
massive.
just looks
It really is massive.
amazing.
Yeah, it goes both directions, just down over to the left. And then
Oh, does it?
way down there.
So there you go. So is that the plan? Should we do a little sort of loop around and
Yeah,
sort of
let's
go from there?
I say let's just get out there and we'll see what happens.
Let's do it. Okay, so I'm all set for dinner. But I've decided that I probably won't be bringing the camera along tonight. Just because it's my birthday, my friend's kindly taking me out for dinner, and my intention is to be present. Because I think the only disadvantage with vlogging, of course, is that you're constantly thinking, I need to shoot this, I need to capture this. And then the evening becomes more about shooting content rather than actually enjoying the evening. And the foundation of everything that I teach is that all that matters is the present moment. So I'm sure there'll be photos. I have no idea where we're going. All I know is I've left it in his capable hands and he's made us a reservation. And I've just come back from a absolutely beautiful, as you saw there, a 30-minute kayak. And that is, just so you know, if you're thinking of coming to Omega to see me or to any other workshop, on campus is obviously all these cabins that you can see, so you can stay here. The most amazing things to do, to see. There's an amazing cafe and dining hall and shop, but you can also hire a kayak and take it out on the lake, which is a really nice thing to do. And bring your running kit if you're into running, and you can do what I did this morning and go for a nice run as well. So tomorrow's my last day here. My workshop's 9 till 12, which is a bit sad, but at the same time, really, really excited to get back and see Coruscant and Humphrey. So I did say I wasn't going to get any footage, but this is on my iPhone, and that's where we had dinner tonight on my birthday, and it's called Stissing House. Absolutely beautiful. And this is the village of Pine Plains.
This is just north of Broadway.
Okay, and we're in Pine Plains. Alright, so that's me done. I've just checked out of my cabin. I'm heading to the dining hall to grab a coffee. Just checking out this actually. This is the iconic building here at Omega. This is the Ramdas Library, which I haven't actually yet been in. But whilst I'm talking to that, I've just been given this morning, which is called Gravity Wave, which I've never seen before. It's a pod of coffee that apparently you just empty into hot water, and apparently it tastes really good, and you know how much I love my coffee, so I'm going to go and check that out in a moment. But let's just have a very quick look in here. The Ramdas Library. I might have to be quiet. Here's a library. See whether we can go in. Cool. There he is, Ramdas, the co-founder of Omega. This is very cool. Copy of Carl Jung's Red Book. Wow. Look at that. The Red Book by Carl Jung. Amazing. Look at that old telly. I've seen one of those for a while. Alan Watts. The Lectures of Alan Watts. Oh, if only I had a bit more time. I could always manifest a bit more time. Even though my talk starts in half an hour. And I need to still set up. But, you know, that's how we roll. Ooh, okay, we're rolling. Is there a tape in here? There is. Play. Oh. Just pull out the headphones. Ha! Oh, no volume. Volume.
We begin again with an experiment which I suggested in a previous talk about meditation. Approach the world through your ears.
What a legend.
If you shut your eyes and make contact with reality purely with your ears, I mean, it's kind of silly perhaps to shut your eyes when you're looking at television, but do it just for a moment. And you will realize that the sounds you are hearing are all coming out of silence. You hear,
Okay.
and it fades away. Fades, 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 fades.
Okay, this is very dangerous. If I stay here too long, I'll definitely be late for my workshop. Anyway, Alan Watts, if you're coming to Omega, make sure you spend time sitting there and listening to those tapes, because they'll change your life. Literally. Hero of mine. Anyway, let's go and get coffee. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. This is the first workshop I've ever hosted, so you're part of something. We never forget the first things we do. I remember every single face here. Where this will be in maybe 5 to 10 years, you know, there might be a few thousand people. And, you know, it will carry on evolving to lower entropy, as we now know. And you've all contributed to that this weekend. And it's one of the greatest things I've ever done in my life. So, to each one of you, you were here for a reason.
And thank you for remembering our faces, because there's a word you should put in your head: discounts.
That is tip. Works both ways. Okay, amazing, thank you. Right, let's get the photo, shall we? Alright, so arrived at JFK. It took about an hour to get through security, which is behind me there. And I've got a bit of time to kill actually. I've got about 2.5 hours before my flight back. My flight's at 9 PM. So I can just chill out for a little bit, get a bit of dinner, and then it's the red eye home. 9 PM and land at Heathrow at 9 AM. And just reflecting on the most amazing workshop weekend. Today was emotional wrapping up. It was so good to connect with everyone, and you know, just go really deeper on day 3 with all the work. And it's really given me that motivation and excitement to already start thinking about the next event. Of course, there's going to be more events in the UK and Europe, but definitely more events. I don't know what we're going to call it, whether we're going to call it workshop, masterclass, retreats, but it's going to be another sort of 2 or 3 day event. Definitely going to be back out in America a couple of times next year for sure, which makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I can't wait to connect with so many of you in person. I think the one thing I learned this weekend is what happens when like-minded souls come together. You know, the energy in the room, that collective resonance, and just to go deeper. Like, I like talking and I like doing an hour's keynote, but to be actually able to hold a room for 3 days and really go really deep with what I know works, and seeing people embody that, and seeing people get unbelievable synchronicity whilst at these workshops, and even I manifested there, and I'll share that story too. It's amazing. It really is amazing. It's amazing what happens when like-minded people come together. A big thank you to everyone that attended. A really special weekend. So let's go and get some food, chill out for a bit, and then go from there. Got to show you this. I've seen this so many times. It looks so cool in person. It's surreal. That is so odd. That is like he is there. That is absolutely wild. Okay, so I'm on the final stretch back home. I'm about 30 minutes away from Cornwall and I am exhausted. I haven't slept at all, and that is because the most incredible synchronicity happened on the plane back. I was in a window seat and there was one seat next to me, and I set the intention to manifest a very interesting individual, someone that I could just converse with, you know, on the way back. And it's exactly what happened. An amazing woman sat down by me, and her and her husband own restaurants in New York, London, LA, and we did not stop speaking for 6 hours straight. I've never spoken to a stranger for 6 hours straight. And she does JFK to London to JFK every week, and she says I've never ever spoken to a stranger for that amount of time. She normally just goes to sleep straight away. But what's synchronistic about it is the fact that she is also writing a book which is being published by Penguin Random House. So again, thinking about the statistical odds of that happening. Anyway, we ended up having the most amazing conversation. She knows some great people in New York. She's got some great restaurants and coffee shops. She was just a lovely, lovely person. And we basically spoke back and forth about what she did, about manifestation, and it was just a great way to end a great trip. So that was amazing. But of course, nothing beats what I'm about to go back to in 25 minutes. I have missed Coruscant so much. I've missed my beautiful boy Humphrey so much. I can't wait to go and squeeze them. It's been a long time without them. It's been nearly a week, and that's been difficult. The polarity there is I've had the most amazing workshop. I've had the most amazing time in Manhattan seeing Penguin, but of course Coruscant and Humphrey weren't there. As I said at the start of this vlog, it was for a reason, but obviously the plan going forward, I'm not sure on the next couple of events, but definitely when Humphrey's just that little bit older, when he can start walking and it's a little bit easier for Coruscant, they're going to travel everywhere with us. So comment below if you've enjoyed this vlog. I'd love to know. Subscribe as well if you're not, and if you like this, then I might carry on doing some more. I've got some of the workshops and events coming up. I've enjoyed it, actually, I really have, and I've really enjoyed this camera too. So with that said, that's a wrap from me, and the only other thing I'm going to say is if you did attend Omega and you're watching this, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you. Such a special group, I'll never forget that. If you've watched this and you're like, I need to be at one of Matt's events, it's just going to keep growing and growing and growing, and it's going to be amazing, and we can be part of something special. I believe that when like-minded souls from around the world come together and I create that resonance field, timelines collapse and the most amazing things happen. Downloads happen, manifestations happen, and that's the power when souls come together. Trust me.